learn what changes you made the night before when they get to the stadium. Is that true?
No, I have no idea. Anybody could write anything and say whatever they want, so no, I'm not gonna respond to every. Next question.
Tom Brady's situation is so unique. We might not get a situation like this ever again in NFL history. I mean, actually, scratch that. We're never going to get a situation like this ever again in NFL history. We have a lot to break down. Before we get to the content, make sure you drop like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. I'm running giveaways on my Twitter and Instagram page for the holidays, and now that we get all of that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Over the past couple of weeks, we've been getting a lot of conflicting reports in regards to the future of Tom Brady. And at one hand, I thought last year when he retired, that was going to be his decision. That was going to be it. There was not going to be much more conversation about it. After all, there isn't much left for him to prove. There wasn't much left for him to prove. On top of that, it didn't seem like there was anything really worth coming back to. You saw Ali Marpet retire during the offseason. So did Rob Gronkowski. Antonio Brown literally quit on the team and is currently still wanted by the police, by the way. That standoff is still going on. It's been 18 days and they're just chilling outside of Antonio Brown's house waiting for him to come out, but that's besides the point. The defense also got significantly weaker. Bruce Arians retired. I mean, there didn't seem to be much incentive for Tom Brady to come back. It didn't seem like this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team was going to be competitive. And that's why the whole situation is very shocking, because despite the fact that there isn't much reason for Tom Brady to come back, he came back anyway. And now there's more incentive for Tom Brady to return following this season more than ever. I mean, each and every week might be a consistent reminder as to why he might be yearning for retirement. I personally think that this is a situation that is bigger than football and has more to do with the psychology of Tom Brady. And this isn't a knock at the guy, because I also don't know the man personally, but there's this one personality trait of all of the greats in NFL history, NBA history, every single sporting event that you've ever known. These dudes are a little crazy. I mean, from Tom Brady to the late great Kobe Bryant, which I love and adore, to Michael Jordan, you could see that there's a little craziness to all of them in the sense that they are obsessed with competition. And I don't think it's necessarily a healthy obsession. I mean, in the past, you heard of Michael Jordan and his gambling problems, and he even said on The Last Dance he has a competition problem, not necessarily a gambling problem. And in the case of Tom Brady, you know the narrative surrounding him all year long. The fact that he was willing to go through a divorce with his family in order to continue playing the game of football. I do want to mention that I hope that the divorce isn't 100% because of Tom Brady deciding to return to play football, but based upon several reports that we've been hearing over this past season, it isn't necessarily something that Gisele decided to dispute. We've seen multiple interviews in the past, and even as recently as this past year, that Gisele was frustrated about not necessarily Tom Brady playing football, but what football would do to Tom Brady's family, meaning Tom wouldn't be around as much to help out with the family, spend time with his kids, help Gisele out with being a husband. And bear in mind, Gisele is very, very successful in her own career. I mean, you could make an argument that Gisele is the Tom Brady of what she does, and we don't necessarily talk about it very much on this channel because, well, we're a football channel. And I think that's the one thing that I appreciated about this season. I learned more about Tom Brady, the person, more than I ever have every other season. And I don't necessarily think he's a bad guy at all. I actually appreciate his self-awareness. He understands that he has a competition problem. He's achieved everything that there is to achieve. He's overcome insurmountable odds to become the greatest football player of all time. Yet, he wants more. Which begs the question, what's next for Tom Brady? Well, the earliest report we got about the situation came to us about a month ago. And I wanted to make a video back then, but the reason I didn't is, well, we had crazier topics to cover, and I felt like this was a topic that we were going to discuss a lot during this off season. And this came to us first from Dove Kleiman, and then it linked us to an Athletic article. Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady, a pending free agent, could return to the Patriots next season via The Athletic. I thought this was cute. At the very minimum, it's a little adorable story about, hey, maybe Tom Brady returns home to reunite with Bill Belichick. What this article says is pretty pretty interesting. If Tom Brady wants a return for a 24th season as a 46-year-old, he shouldn't rule out the idea of joining a third team. The Buccaneers have taken a major step back on offense this season without Bruce Arians at head coach or much of a ground game, so Brady should seek assurances from the decision makers of an improved schematic plan and upgrades on the offensive line. Otherwise, there are 4 natural locations for his next spot, starting with his hometown 49ers. Now, bear in mind, this article came out before the 49ers found their franchise cornerstone QB in Brock Purdy. Jokes aside, let me know in the comment section down below if you want a video on Brock Purdy. But it mentions how the 49ers are well coached by Kyle Shanahan. They have a championship caliber roster. They have a remarkable running game, a phenomenal defense. To be honest, this is a natural fit. And at the very minimum, you have Trey Lance, who gets to learn from one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And then you would still have 2 seasons to determine whether or not Trey Lance is going to be your future under center, because he was drafted during the 2021 NFL draft. So you have 5 years. I mean, I think you actually have 3 years following next season to determine if Trey Lance is the guy, because you have 5 years, including 5th-year option on first-round picks, to put these players on a rookie scale contract. Now, the next possibility is the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't think this is going to happen because the 49ers have a remarkable roster where Tom Brady doesn't need to carry the team very much. He would essentially be in the same role that Peyton Manning was in during the final season of his career, where you would primarily be there to make the right reads, make the right adjustments at the line of scrimmage, and try to essentially be a quarterback on the football field. But it's a little different with Tom Brady because it seems like Tom Brady still has the ability to launch the football. But in this instance, the 49ers would give him significantly more help on the offense and on the defense. And to be honest, I think this team might be one of the more likely destinations for Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the king of situational football, and he's also the king of putting himself into situations to succeed. Then there's the Tennessee Titans, because Tom Brady's very close with Mike Vrabel, and although I think that's a cool, cute little story, I want to get to the part where it mentions the New England Patriots. The Patriots have more than $50 million in cap space in 2023, so they can again address their flaws, this time on the heels of a couple impressive draft classes. The issues, not the egos, not the pride, but for Tom Brady, you'd have to know that the offense is in capable hands. That Jacoby Myers lateral to Chandler Jones can't happen. There have been criticisms of Matt Patricia's first season as a play caller, plenty warranted, others exaggerated, and Brady benefited by an abundance of stability, the offensive coordinator in New England. I don't necessarily know if that's true, because some years he had Bill O'Brien, some years he had Josh McDaniels, but I digress. He'd either need to be comfortable with Patricia or push for a reunion with someone like Bill O'Brien, currently the Alabama offensive coordinator, to ensure he's not wasting a season as a 46-year-old. Sure, Tom Brady would return to run his offense, but he can't also coordinate it. What's really funny is ever since this report came out, which bear in mind, it's a couple weeks old, we have a lot more to get to here because this is just addressing whether if Tom Brady would even return to the NFL. It's really ironic because there have been reports about Tampa Bay Buccaneers coaches being upset with Tom Brady for changing up the game plan as the game goes on. So it's really funny how the end of this paragraph in particular says Tom Brady could return to run his offense, but he also can't coordinate it. For the New England Patriots, they should want clarity on Tom Brady's future. Is he going year to year? Do they need a fully guaranteed second season? Something that Bill Belichick wouldn't do before Brady walked in 2020? It's so funny because like a lot of people try to paint Bill Belichick as this bad guy who didn't believe that Tom Brady could play this long. I mean, Bill Belichick was drafting QBs when Tom Brady was in his age 38 season. I don't think that makes Belichick a bad guy. He's just preparing for what he thought was an inevitability, which is Father Time is undefeated. So I don't think there's a lot of beef between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick as much as people want to paint that narrative, because at the end of the day, Bill Belichick was just going based off of what statistics told him, which is statistically, and if Tom Brady was normal, following his age 39 season, you'll see a significant drop off. But Tom Brady just kept playing and playing and playing, and now we're in the situation that we're in now. If the Patriots would reunite with Tom Brady, they wouldn't need to trade Mac Jones because it's a similar situation as Trey Lance. You have a contract that runs through 2024 plus a 5th-year option in 2025, which gives Mac Jones the ability to watch his predecessor, which he was compared to fairly consistently because of his ability to process defenses. I mean, we always talk about what a missed opportunity it must have been for the Indianapolis Colts not to have Peyton Manning under center for one more season and have Andrew Luck sit behind him to learn from him. And that's if Tom Brady does return, and a huge reason why I think he'd return is he's a free agent. Once again, he could look at the entire NFL and pick his team and put himself in a situation to win another Super Bowl based upon the team he chooses. But for the most part, I feel like he's sacrificed so much that he has to return, right? I mean, the divorce, and then you also have the fact that he is going to be a free agent this offseason, and on top of all of that, he could choose his team next season. But regardless, despite this information, we have multiple reports that say people expect Tom Brady to retire at the end of the season. According to The Athletic's Mike Jones, a majority of insiders believe Brady will likely retire when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers season wraps up. Now, here's where it gets confusing. Prior to Brady's last game against the San Francisco 49ers, Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero reported that Brady feels good enough to keep playing and is keeping all of his options on the table. This article says the fact that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are already being $40 million over the 2023 salary cap, it would seem unlikely that Brady returns to the team next season, even if he does continue playing. I think that's the most likely scenario. I think Tom Brady is going to return, but it's not going to be for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jones lists the San Francisco 49ers, the New York Jets, the New England Patriots, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Tennessee Titans as potential landing spots for Brady. I really like the idea of Tom Brady going to one of these teams that could easily win a Super Bowl if he was their quarterback. A team like the 49ers, or even a team like the New York Jets. I know you might not look at the Jets like this, but they have a really good defense with solid young pieces, and they invested 2 second-round picks on Elijah Moore and Denzel Mims, and it seems like they hit on their first-round pick of Garrett Wilson. Corey Davis is very solid as a wide receiver as well. You have CJ Uzoma and Tyler Conklin, and if their offensive line gets fully healthy, Tom Brady should have a ton of protection. On top of this, it's the same story for Zach Wilson. He's had some exposure in the NFL. You saw what he's good at, you saw what he's bad at. You have tape on him. He does make the same mistakes here and there, to be honest. Every time I see Zach Wilson throw off of his back foot, I want to bang my head against the wall. Having an opportunity to watch Tom Brady prepare for a very grueling season, watching Tom Brady lead a team would be very valuable for Zach Wilson, a man that has been struggling with leadership earlier on in this season. I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but it would help him tremendously. There's a lot of directions that Tom Brady's offseason could go. There's a lot of story, and every single day we get a conflicting report about whether you could expect him to stay or expect him to go. It seems like whenever he has a dominant game, everyone expects him to stay for another year. He has a game where he turns the ball over 5 times, including the fumbles and the interceptions. That's when people think he's washed and it's time to retire. At the end of the day, I feel like he sacrificed way too much in order to just come back and play for a very meh Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. Although Rob Gronkowski does expect him to retire, you also have to bear in mind that he has a very lucrative job waiting for him as a sports analyst for Fox Sports the moment he retires, something that should give him some more free time to pursue other desires. But is that what he wants? Is he ready to step into that role, or does he need to find something to consistently scratch that competitive itch? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think's the most likely, and what do you think Tom Brady should do? Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.